Mamelodi Sundowns are the winners of the inaugural African Football League.
Mamelodi Sundowns, the new African Football League champions. Yes, the South African champions have wrestled dominance of African football away from North Africa, topping AHLY and Wydad Casablanca on the way to AFL glory.
I'm going to paradise. Paradise.
Become used to dominating at home, Mamelodi Sundowns, but African level, there have been
But is this the beginning of a shift in the balance of power? Or will the North clap back and reassert their historical hold on African club football? In this episode of World Football Africa, we take an in-depth look at Mamelodi's AFL triumph and ask whether it signals the realignment of the pecking order in African football. In an interview with South African broadcaster SABC just days after Mamelodi's AFL triumph, Sundowns coach Rulani Mokwena was asked about dealing with the pressure that comes with success. It is a question he's likely to hear a lot more as the start of the 2023-2024 CAF Champions League draws closer, a tournament that will start with Sundowns as clear favourites. This was Rulani's response.
There's always pressure, but pressure is a privilege because we're under pressure in the sense that from a football perspective, there's an expectation that we must win for sure as Mamelodi Sundowns, but there's a certain way that we want to win. I was incredibly touched and humbled by the words from the president of FIFA immediately on the stage. The first thing he said to me was, "This team plays incredible football." And that was extremely humbling, and it's a message that I conveyed to the players and to the rest of the technical staff. And this is what we want to try to do. This is what we think and we feel football is about. It's about evoking certain emotions, trying to make people connect with the game and with the club, and particularly with the culture that is associated with the Brazilians and the Samba boys. So it's very important that we align ourselves closely with the objectives of the football club, and the objectives of the club are very clear: to try to win, expand our reach into a global space, but also to win playing a certain way of football, and that's what we have to try to do all the time.
Now that's confidence, and who can blame Rulani? Mamelodi lead the South African top flight by a single point, despite having 4 games in hand on second place SuperSport. They have played 8 and won 8. Safe to say, it will take something dramatic to prevent Sundowns from winning their 7th consecutive PSL title. As for the CAF Champions League, Mamelodi start their 2023-2024 campaign next week with a home fixture against Mauritania's FC Nouadhibou, hardly intimidating opposition. Sundowns are in Group A, which also includes Egypt's Pyramid and DRC's TP Mazembe. You remember they were part of the AFL. So, should the AFL be considered a harbinger of Mamelodi's CAF Champions League campaign? After all, Mamelodi were unquestionably the best side in the inaugural African Football League, which was exclusive to the reigning champions of Africa's top 8 leagues. Mamelodi's path to the AFL title took them past the 2 sides that contested last year's CAF Champions League final. First, they eliminated record and reigning CAF Champions League champions AHLY 1-0 on aggregate, before powering past Wydad Casablanca 3-2 on aggregate in the final. Mamelodi were the best team in the AFL, but was the gap between them and AHLY or Wydad so wide as to suggest they are prohibitive favourites for the CAF Champions League? The simple answer is no. In fact, Mamelodi, AHLY, Wydad, and even ESPERANCE, who were eliminated in the last 4 of the AFL by the Moroccan champions, had a certain equality. And if there is a top tier of African clubs, you could argue it includes the AFL semi-finalists. each of those 4 will come into the CAF Champions League with genuine title ambitions. But naturally, Mamelodi will have an extra spring in their step as AFL title winners. Mamelodi's AFL campaign underlined a ruthless streak that was absent in last year's CAF Champions League campaign, which saw Sundowns eliminated by Wydad at the semi-final stage on away goals. After a 2-2 draw in the return leg, Mamelodi went through last year's CAF Champions League unbeaten, but they paid the price for a lack of ruthlessness. In the African Football League, Rulani Mokwena's side displayed, and in a sense also gained a new sense of maturity. Known as the Brazilians, Mamelodi take great pleasure in style, and Rulani has always said, it is not enough to just win, they have to win in style. And in recent years, as Mamelodi struggled to build upon their CAF Champions League triumph in 2016, you wondered whether the emphasis on style was coming at a steep price. Sometimes to win the biggest prizes, you must strike a balance between style and substance. In the AFL, Mamelodi showed a commitment to getting that balance right, as the ties against AHLY and Wydad Casablanca showed. The semi-final tie against AHLY was decided by a single goal, and it took a safe penalty from Sundowns goalkeeper Roman Williams in the second leg for Mamelodi to make it through. The first leg of the final against Wydad was similarly fraught with difficulty for Mamelodi, especially after they scored the equalizer, but they held on, taking the long game approach that combined a willingness to suffer in the moment before going all in for the second leg in Pretoria. That was maturity, and Rulani will surely take the approach that served him so well in the African Football League to heart. Rulani broke down at the final whistle of the second leg final, proving perhaps just how much winning the AFL meant to him. The likes of AHLY, Wydad and ESPERANCE know how much winning the inaugural FAL would have done for their profiles. More importantly, they also understand what message allowing Mamelodi to win the upcoming Champions League title would send out. It's the message suggested by Mamelodi's AFL triumph that power in African football is on the move south. Thanks for watching. Kindly drop a comment in the comment section and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, see ya.